It really has become a focus of the anti-choice movement.
This is the last abortion clinic in Kentucky. In the 2 years since Donald Trump became president, there has been a huge crackdown on access to abortions. One by one, clinics across the country have shut down under the weight of hefty regulations, threats to doctors, and violence. Now, 7 states, including Kentucky, have just a single abortion clinic left.
Does our nation deserve the justice we pray for if we continue to kill children for the inconvenience that they might bring to our lives?
And those few remaining clinics are under threat too. Here in Kentucky, the EMW Women's Clinic has become a key battleground for both sides of the argument. Volunteers here escort women into the clinic to act as a physical barrier against pro-Trump, pro-life supporters.
Protesters are becoming more bold about using their bodies and about bringing props, including things like a child's coffin or a full sound system.
Operation Save America posted themselves outside the clinic in numbers, and there were hundreds of people. Of course, I can only imagine it was incredibly stressful and probably traumatic for some of the women arriving at the clinic.
In a deeply religious state like Kentucky, many feel it is their duty to let women know there is an alternative option.
There is a way out. 3 out of 4 women are coerced in some way. So she's left thinking, I guess I have to get an abortion when she really doesn't want to.
45 years ago, the landmark Supreme Court ruling in the case of Roe v. Wade revolutionized abortion law. It gave a constitutional right to legal, safe abortions until a fetus was viable, typically at 22 to 24 weeks.
Of course, Roe has been law for decades, but here in Kentucky and in other states, we already see an encroachment on women's rights and women's access.
Donald Trump came into office promising to only appoint Supreme Court judges who are open to overturning the ruling.
Roe versus Wade has resulted in some of the most permissive abortion laws anywhere in the world. It is wrong. It has to change.
Before becoming president, way back in 1999, he said,
I'm very pro-choice.
But things changed in 2011.
I'm pro-life.
In April 2017, when Neil Gorsuch was appointed, the balance shifted, making the court more conservative. And with a majority of 6 men to 3 women, the lack of a female presence at the table has left many women across the states fearful of Donald Trump's campaign promises, claiming they could infringe on their civil liberties.
It's a general feeling overall that access is in danger.
And now, Brett Kavanaugh has been appointed to the Supreme Court.
On the question of Roe v. Wade, if confirmed to the D.C. Circuit, I would follow Roe v. Wade faithfully and fully.
As a devout Roman Catholic and conservative, pro-choice campaigners are worried about how he will tip the scale. Many anti-abortion activists hope Mr. Kavanaugh will deliver on President Trump's promise to overturn Roe.
We will always defend the very first right in the Declaration of Independence, and that is the right to life.
Many people in Kentucky hope it will become the first state with no abortion access.
Being on the precipice of this is a scary time.
In America, we don't worship government, we worship God. And I want to thank you because, boy, did you come out and vote.
Conservative evangelicals are a significant part of Donald Trump's support base for many reasons, including his pro-life stance. They traditionally support Republican candidates. More than 80% voted for the president in 2016.
Every child is a precious gift from God.
I contacted dozens of churches, but they were reluctant to talk about the president on camera. It was only Pastor A.R. Bernard who agreed to open up on the issue. He was the first pastor to quit Mr. Trump's Spiritual Advisory Board, an influential group of faith leaders who advised the president.
Most of the meetings that I attended, President Trump came. He talked and again assured us that he would be the best thing that ever happened. For all of the concerns, the state of Israel, abortion, immigration, I don't think he's changed the pro-life issue. I think he's emboldened those who are pro-life The constitutionality of Roe v. Wade has been in question since it came into law. So now it's being challenged. What direction is it going to go in? I don't know.
With a conservative majority in the Supreme Court, some legal experts believe it's only a matter of time before Roe v. Wade is challenged.
Abortion restrictions short of Roe v. Wade will be upheld. And that's the scary thing for us, is that we see the types of laws that are already being passed in states like Kentucky. We know that those have been held unconstitutional in the past. There is a concern that Donald Trump's Supreme Court appointees would be willing to reverse precedent on those cases. You never know what's going to happen, and there are pregnancies that are incompatible with life. There are pregnancies with fetal anomalies, and there is a very, very real need for abortion care in the state, even for those individuals who normally would identify themselves as pro-life.
President Trump has only been in office for 2 years, but he has already brought about the most conservative Supreme Court for several decades. It is a move that will shape American society for years to come. If Brett Kavanaugh lasts as long as his predecessor, he will be on the court until 2048. As America becomes more politically divided, an energized left-wing base has begun to mobilize against the Trump administration. Record numbers of women and ethnic minorities are standing in November's midterm elections to ensure their voices are heard.
We've seen from this president how frightening power and money can become when that power is not in the hands of people who are most impacted by the decisions that are being made. I do think that we have much scarier times ahead, and that it is vitally important that we all stick together in preserving access.
What is in store for the rest of the Trump presidency? We can't be sure, but one thing is clear. His impact on the country will far outstrip his residence in the White House.